I reckon I'd crash driving down the road playing with that. It's mesmerising. It's like that, you know, mirror in a mirror and everything just disappears down the tunnel.
You look small in this. Like, it looks...
Mate. Oh, really? That's nice. It is pretty spacious.
Your head seems to be like behind the pillar.
I don't normally fit in stuff, which is nice. Oh wait, I got more leg room. Oh yeah. Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, there we go. Man, this is a good driving position. They must have tall people in Korea or something.
It looks a bit high tower spec from here. Like you're sitting...
It's perfect. I mean, who cares about the kids?
But it's comfortable.
Yeah, leg room. Like, I don't think I've had a dual cab pickup that's this comfortable. Check out the door handle. I like that. Look at that. Oh, give it a pull.
Yeah, that is nice, isn't it?
You can really just, you can find it easily. You don't have to fiddle around. You can have your durries and your sausage roll in your hand and everything and just go, oh, get it. With one hook, one piece of your claw. It's a big finger entry. They've catered for the tall person, and they've catered for someone that's got hands like a bunch of sausages too. They've got to reach in there and look at the size of that hole.
I guess we filmed some of the aftermath of these tear-down processes you guys do here at the Auto Innovation Centre, Luke. And you've got the latest from Kia.
Look, the aftermath is an assembled functional car. We don't break them, although we are going to break one of these, which is pretty exciting. But normally the aftermath is a reassembled car. That's perfectly fine. But yes, Kia Tasmans. I've got a couple in here, so only just rolling out to the public now. And yeah, it's really exciting to be able to get them down to this state in such a new car.
You were just sitting in it, and she's got a fair bit of room in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not short. To fit in there, the steering wheel, the adjustable reach steering wheel, and the seat itself can go back quite comfortably. Like I got no issues fitting in here.
And this is base model.
This is as base as it gets. This is this is a thing you can get for under 50 grand. And you and I didn't realise. We were looking at it going, oh yeah, it's all right, but we didn't realise that it was the absolute bottom. Like the X Pro is actually really nice inside, but it's still got the big screen and a lot of the feel and the touch is actually quite nice, and there's nothing in here that's overly offensive at all. It's for a base spec.
No, it's pretty good actually. You pulled this one apart.
Yep, this is just the seats and steering wheel pretty much. This is the production spec body. Basically lifted it off so we can get to the bits underneath that we really care about. Nothing particularly unusual in here, I don't think. Looks like a normal car. You got your ABS unit on one side and you got your brake vac booster and master cylinder on the left. Pretty standard kind of setup. Nothing overly crazy or complicated.
The guys were saying this was quite easy to pull apart.
They were saying it's one of the best cars to work on that we've had through.
10 tools or something.
Yeah. He said it came apart so easy and everything was really nice to work on. There was nothing particularly confusing or weird or, you know, it's just nice to work on pretty much.
Yeah. So let's have a look at the chassis over there that this was lifted off. Where are you at the moment in terms of what you guys have got to do?
So we've pretty much got the thing down to a bare chassis for scanning. We scan it on the way down and we scan this complete bare chassis and then we build it back up. So we'll be scanning, so the diff independently, the engine, gearbox, tail shaft, exhaust system, fuel tank, all that sort of stuff, and we'll kind of build it back up so it looks like a finished CAD model. So, you know, usual deal, get this thing down to this stage and we go through, we've got thickness measurements done, which is important for our GBM upgrade program. And then eventually we're going to sacrifice that chassis and that will get fully tested for material quality and its strength. Spec-wise, this thing's got quite a good payload. It's a very competitive payload, but people, you know, you still want a bit more. And there is still the ability to have a bit more safely when you get the suspension tuned to be more suited to carrying more weight and not being a completely unloaded car. So by the time you put a bull bar and maybe a roof rack or a service body or different accessories on it, you've added a fair bit of weight. So, you know, your OEM tuned suspension, which is not designed for that weight, is probably a little bit too soft. So you kind of basically shift that window up of what a suspension system can do. But we'll go through and make sure everything's strong enough to be able to do that. And we do that for aftermarket companies in Australia.
So this one here is a production
Correct. Chassis,
but this one over here isn't?
Yeah, this is a pre-production one that Kia gave to us, so this is going to be fully destructively tested. It's very similar to the production one. There's been some tweaks that they've done sort of late in the piece, like any manufacturer, to I guess fine-tune its I guess strength, ride handling, whatever they were changing. But this will get destructively tested.
Well, why don't we start up front, Luke? Well, because this one's actually kind of still together. You're prepared.
I've invested. 2.2 turbo diesel, turbocharger, turbine housing and manifold integral. They call this the EVGT, I think they call it. Yeah, 2.2 litre. They run that in the Sorrento and the Carnival currently. 154 kilowatts, which is fairly competitive. It's kind of halfway, you know, kind of like I think the Goodbye Turbo on the Ranger before you go to the V6, so it's a bit down on the 3 litres. But it's competitive for like a Hilux and a bit more power than a D-Max.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's an engine that they trust, but nothing outrageous for I guess, for our market, as in the most crazy thing it's got is a stop-start system, right? Which is pretty normal these days, but no hybrid or anything like that.
This is sort of, in a way, what people have been selling here for the last, at least 5 years.
Yeah, they've gone for a pretty safe recipe, which is not a bad thing. You know, for what people are going to use this thing for, you want it to be reliable, you want it to be safe, you want it to get you home, and I respect the fact that they've gone for an engine that they know that works, and to be fair, the manufacturers have limited options now with the new vehicle efficiency standard. They can, you know, efficiency standard. They can, you know, the diesel obviously is something that works for them in Euro 6. You know, 8-speed autos are all the rage now, so probably got a good torque converter lockup and stuff like that. Lots of ratios to make the engine do its thing well. Very traditional kind of transfer case and high-low range system. Conventional live axle rear, leaf springs. The front's an independent front, you know, steel upper and lower control arms. This is an A8 TR1 transmission, so I think it's these 8-speed transmissions. So ZF's got one, GM, Stellantis, and then you know, Hyundai and Genesis, made by PowerTech, which is their division of powertrains. This is their 8-speed. So I don't know much about it. You know, you would assume that it would be pretty competitive with the other 8-speeds that we know, but they're going to have that probably in everything. It's in a lot of Hyundais and Genesis now.
So this one over here is different.
I don't know. We haven't pulled the trans apart. We don't typically do that because they're not commonly modified, but it looks identical up to here. So where this has got a yoke hanging out, there's a potential that the backside of that gearbox, if once you get the transfer case off, might, like it you know, visibly from the outside looks the same. Maybe the input shaft is just a female spline like a yoke, so you undo that and you slide on. I don't know yet, but you know, I think they're pretty modular in how they do these things. Very short intercooler piping. So straight out of there, water air cooler straight in. That's pretty good. So it's got a water pump there, in, out.
Oh yeah, it is pretty short piping.
Yeah.
So how does the Tasman come in weight-wise? Because a lot of the newer, I guess, some of these plug-in hybrids, I think their Achilles heel is their weight. Yeah,
it's not heavy. It's it looks like, if you look at the federal approval, between sort of 2,200 and 2,300 kilos, thereabouts. Where it's got GVM of 3,200, so, or 3,200, 3,250, depending on which spec you get. So, you know, it's realistically, you might see the TAM masses being 2,250 to 2,350, kind of, you know, full tank of fuel stuff. So they're actually not too heavy. You know, it's kind of comparative with the other vehicles competing against, like the ICE vehicles.
Yeah.
It gives it a reasonably good payload, you know, and it won't be a slug to drive around. I mean, driving around something that weighs 2.8 tons, you know, every day, you know, it's a bit sort of heavy for the vehicle.
I know you've always said about these tow ratings are a bit ridiculous on some of these utes. Is this one rated at 3.5? Like some?
So it's rated 3.5, so it's passed ADR 62 for 3.5 tons. You know, should you tow 3.5 ton with a dual cab pickup of this size? I think most people would say probably not. You probably, you know, 2.5, you know, like if you're going around the country, you don't really want to do much, you know, you don't want to go for 3, right? It's a lot of work for it, you know. 3.5 ton, you should be up on a bigger vehicle, but it's a bit of an arms race. That's what gets done.
It's a selling point.
It is. It's a selling point. And if you had to go down the road and you had to go pick up your Subaru because it's broken again, and you only had a heavy trailer and blah, 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 you know, 3.5 ton for whatever reason, and you just have to, you know, get it home, it's capable of doing it. It's able to do it, you know, if you've got the right trailer and it's correct. That's kind of what it's there for, right? But you're not going to put on a canopy and all your camping shit and your bull bar and all that sort of stuff and get the vehicle to weigh another 600 kilos, put your whole family in it, and then lug a 3.5 ton van. It doesn't work like that. You know, it can do it, but under certain conditions.
Yeah,
that's the same with all of them.
That's a fair point. Now, you pointed out before this diff housing.
Yeah, so
you've got another one that you've prepared earlier.
Yeah, walk this way. It's a little bit different to what we normally see in that the main housing looks to be And we're about to pull it apart this afternoon, but it's one piece of pressed steel. So you got a big piece all the way across here, which that's not super uncommon to, I guess, press it in one go. I mean, it's not always a done thing, but that's been done before. But it wraps around, as in like they form the tube around and they seam weld the front. So they've started with this sheet, they've formed it up, and then they've obviously done some additional processes to form it all the way around so it joins at the front. And then you've got a really thick looking plate they put on the front here. So just slightly different to some. You'll have like a cast center and then tubes that get put in, like I think like a Ranger. They obviously have always got like a cast outer end that gets welded on. But yeah, that's just a bit different. We'll test that one. We'll fatigue test that till it breaks. We'll find out where it ends up. But slightly different the way they've done that. I mean, Kia's made trucks for a long time, so I think they've got a fair idea of what they're doing. It's actually got a really good rear axle rating. It's over 2 tonne. 2,040 kilos rear axle cap, whereas say a Ranger's got 1960, so it's 80 kilos up on that. A Hilux has got 1,700, a D-Max has got 1910, so it's got 130 kilos on a D-Max. So it's actually a strong rear axle out of the box from an OEM rating point of view, so it's pretty good. And the front axle rating on this car is pretty competitive. It's 1,450 kilos, whereas a Ranger's between 1,450 and 1,490. Hilux 1,450 to 1,480, D-Max 1,450. They're all kind of very similar in that space. But realistically, your payload you're always put in the back. It's a tray. It's where a lot of it ends up.
So what spec is this one?
So this is pre-prod, but I think it's one up from the bottom. It's also a pretty low spec.
Yeah.
It's got storage in the wheel arches. I don't know if we can see that. I wonder if it needs a battery. Oh wait, you might need the battery. That feels like an electric switch. All right, I've ruined that one. We need a battery to power that one up. I can't get to that. But there's a storage in one of the wheel arches in the back. So the arches, which are somewhat polarizing.
One of the biggest talking points online that obviously is getting around about the Kia Tasman is its looks. And like a lot of cars, a lot of people don't like a lot of cars when they first come out and then they grow on them after a while. This happens with
everything.
Every model across the board. I kind of like Kia and Hyundai in the fact that they do some different styling. I think a lot of other manufacturers just have this global look.
Yeah, it's a lot less cookie cutter, isn't it?
It's just a bit boring. And if you don't like one of their cars, you're not going to like any of them.
They've definitely pushed the boundaries, I guess, on the styling. This doesn't look like anything else they got. But you can't argue that they do a very good job of styling. Like, to be honest, Kia and Hyundai, they spend a lot of, Kia in particular, probably a bit more edgy in styling. They spend a lot of money on recruiting the right people from the right manufacturers. And, love it or hate it, they know a lot more about styling than I do. I can guarantee you that. So I don't sort of criticise it. I'm more kind of, let's see how I feel about it in 6 months when there's a bunch of them running around and, some people have customised them a bit, maybe colour code the flares or done bull bars.
There was one, I think, that they released recently, and it was like a sort of tan colour.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was a Kia or if it was a prototype or it was a show car or what, but it looked good when it was colour coded, didn't it?
Yeah.
With some tyres on it. I think they'll look really good once they've got some lift and some tyres. They'll look really, really good.
I think these cars will actually be pretty well supported by the aftermarket.
Yeah, we've had a lot of interest. At the end of the day, they're a very successful company that make very good cars. They've got a good warranty. Their reliability is quite good. There's no reason this shouldn't succeed. You could sit there and sort of criticise them if you want to say, well, there's no hybrid or there's no crazy new tricks, but why would they? They're going into a market that's very well mature with turbo diesel 4 cylinders, automatic gearboxes, leaf spring rear. They do a very good job of making a car. So I don't expect it to be a negative in any way. They've gone and benchmarked their competition and probably going to do a pretty good job of it.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the utes, they're putting in hybrid systems just to tick boxes, when in the real world, it's not really needed for what most owners want to do with these things.
Yeah, I mean, 48 volt hybrids, does it do a lot, or is it kind of satisfying? Maybe those manufacturers didn't even want to do that. Maybe they're trying to satisfy legislation or a requirement. But, this thing's got a stop-start system and it's got a little lithium battery that lives in the car, and that's kind of it. Whether they want to do it or not. The Shark at least came out with a incredible kind of huge hybrid situation. It's kind of like a range extender engine, but with the ability to do some different things like power it directly, and that's fine, and it's really exciting for them. But it is a big departure from what the rest of the industry does and what they know. And obviously the penalty was payload, whereas this payload's really good. So horses for courses, depends what you're into. But this seems like something, but judging by what the guy said, I didn't pull it apart, but easy to work on, pretty conventional type of system and layout, 7-year warranty. I mean, if it's priced competitively, it's, whether you like them or not, I mean, the interior is really nice. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how they go. Like we were just on car sales and you can pick them up for...
So under 50, didn't we? Like this is the base
50.
base.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one, according to car sales, you can get them for like 47 grand. And then they go up to what? We saw 80, didn't we, for like the X Pro 4x4. So, I mean, I sat in an X Pro 4x4 and the interior is very nice. Like it's pretty decent. And I fit, which is nice, which is rare.
Sorry, you were saying the different specs have different controls.
I can't tell you that I know why, but the low spec ones we have got this gear stick in the center, very traditional, looks like a VK Commodore T-bar shifter. But the high spec has the Kia Hyundai kind of standard thing now, the little thumb sticks out the side of the steering wheel, which I don't mind. I mean, let's be honest, you don't need a giant stick just to go from parked reverse to drive, right? So in the high spec, they have a fold forward table, like in the F-150s.
I don't know why in an automatic, why you need anything in the middle there.
Yeah, I know. I can't understand. It's obviously, well, I would assume it's obviously a price point. Why is it not more cost effective to have that across the line? Maybe it means that you've got to put something in here. Not entirely sure. Or maybe people that drive low spec for a work truck just want to get in and go, whereas it does take a couple of seconds to get used to the little thumbstick on the right. But the other switches are, apart from these haptic ones, which I'm not a fan of, these little haptic things in the middle here, scrolly wheel, up and down toggles, very, very tactile. I quite like that. That's nice. Steering wheel's got real buttons too, I think. Yeah, no haptic switches here, which is nice.
The screen is well positioned.
Yeah, and a lot of information on there, and you can't really argue.
I don't know. I have a car with a center screen, and I can't stand it. I think it's
really?
I think it's awful. This is a much nicer layout.
Yeah, I think you put your input and stuff on that side, and you put your nav or whatever, or music on this side. It's not super offensive for something that's so low spec.
Not at all. I think it'll do all right. I was looking at the sales figures earlier for the first 6 months, and it's amazing how many utes are sold in this country.
Oh yeah, everyone's got to have a ute. My
only criticism, I thought they probably should have entered this into the market probably 5 years ago.
Maybe. I think it'll go all right. Look at this. It tells you your height and your width in meters and in, whatever in means. No one knows what that is. No one cares.
You don't like it, do you?
If you're talking clearance and you're talking thousandths of an in, that's fine. But who goes, 76 inches? God, my garage is only 74 inches. The hell is an inch? No one cares.
The Montague Bridge needs...
Once you get past 4 inches, it makes no sense to anybody.
Is that what the wife says, Luke?
It might sound boring, but nothing about it is offensive or weird or weak or particularly different, and maybe it'll work well as a result.
Well, I'm interested to see what comes out of the aftermarket with these.
Yeah, we'll break them. If anything good happens when we break them, we'll let you know.